Welcome back to the reading of Land and Sea. We will be starting at chapter 15. Peter teleported onto the deck of the Jolly Roger, wanting to make his presence known. "You know, Hook, your daughter is now my queen," Peter said, painting a grin on his face. The pirate rushed towards him, shoving him against the main mast. "I thought I told you to stay away from my daughter." "Well, plans changed, and we also fell in love, and kissed. Twice. Why, you little scallywag, I ought to skin you here and now. But your daughter would not like that, not after what we have been through. Now give me the boy, and you can talk to your daughter." Hook glanced over his shoulder. "Fine." "Excellent. Now grab the boy. It's time to go." Hook went below deck and grabbed the boy. They walked steadily over towards Peter. "All right, now take me to my daughter," Hook said, new determination spreading over his face. Peter grabbed both of their shoulders and teleported them onto the island. "Emily, boys, come out. We have guests." Emily was the first to appear. She saw her father and looked down, tears beginning to form in her eyes. Peter let Hook go, and he rushed over to Emily's side. "Emily, I am so sorry I left you for so long. I tried to come back as soon as possible, but the boat kept getting wrecked." "I cannot believe you kissed Peter Pan." "Well, did you really think that I was actually going to stay away from him? And what do you expect from true love? Everyone finds it, and I just happened to find it right under my nose. Now, if you will please excuse me, I need to welcome my new lost boy." Emily walked over to Peter and Balefire, not wanting to look over her shoulder, but still, she did. Her father had tears in his eyes, and sad that his little girl had grown up without him. "Welcome to the island, Balefire," Peter was saying to the boy. Emily stopped in her tracks. "Excuse me, but what is your name?" "Balefire, but everyone calls me Bay," the little boy said. "Well, Bay, whatever happens to you, we can make your future brighter than it had ever looked," Emily said, embracing the boy in a hug. "I am Queen Emily of Neverland, but you can either call me Emily or Mom." Chapter 16. The days went on, and I began to teach Bay in private, for he had not been the boy Peter was looking for. I felt sorry for him, knowing that he was my half-brother, but I couldn't tell him or Peter. They would both probably get pretty angry with me, so I just didn't tell them. One day, Peter finally let Bay off the island. I was happy to see him go, but also a little sad. He was the only family I had, other than Peter. When we knew for sure that Bay was off the island, things began to go back to normal. Peter began to teach me how to fly, the lost boys began to learn how to fish, and I wasn't getting older. "Emily, I have a question," Peter asked me one morning. "What is it, Peter? Would you like to have children?" "Yes." "Why do you sound so uncertain?" "Because we will eventually be the same age as them." "But what if I find a new Neverland? A place where we will be able to grow up but never die." "That sounds fine, but where will we go? I drank the water from the falls, remember? But do you also remember that I gave you a magical dagger that will keep you alive? You will go first in about 2 days, and then the Lost Boys and I will come after you." "Okay, that sounds fine, but children? Where did you think of that?" "When you told Bay that he could call you Mom, it just triggered something I haven't even thought about in years." "Alright, I don't see too much harm in it, but we are both only 17. We aren't even really considered adults yet. And think of what my father will do to you. To us. I am not as worried about your father as I am of you. I will have a preservation spell put over the baby, so that you will look normal, but you won't be. Let's get your things packed and then go to sleep." And so we packed my things and went to sleep. This was different though. Peter had gotten rid of the beds and made a bigger bed appear. We went to sleep, and my dreams were tormented throughout the night. Chapter 17. The 2 days passed, and I was ready to go. Peter had taught me how to use a magic bean, and that was how I was going to get to our new home. We went to the cliff, and everyone but Peter stayed back. "Emily, I will see you in a few days." Send a message if you find the boy, okay? Yeah, I know. I will. And don't you have a spell to cast? Oh, right. Here you go. Peter snapped his finger, and I felt safe, as if if he was always be near me. Goodbye, my lost boys. I will see you in a few days, I called over my shoulder. I kissed Peter, and he walked over to the boys. Here goes nothing. I threw the bean onto the ground, and it immediately erupted into a portal, causing everything surrounding it to be pulled towards the center. I jumped through, not caring where I would go, as long as this place would be safe for my family. I landed on the ground, rising shocked to my feet. I was in the enchanted forest. Are you new around here? A male voice asked from behind me. I turned around and saw a man with a crown on his head, clothing ready for a fight. He looked familiar. Yes, I just got here today after hearing of this beautiful place. Oh, I hope I'm not disturbing you, I said. Well, you aren't, but we could use some help. Help. My wife is about to have a baby, and the evil queen is about to cast a curse. We need all the help we can get to bring her to a place where she will be safe from it. I can help. I have magic. Just give me the baby, and I can get her into the place. Okay, it's a magical wardrobe, and it will have wooden doors carved beautifully and skillfully on the front of it. It is on the other side of the hallway, and guards are beginning to storm the palace. Do you think you can make it? You sound like my boyfriend. Of course I can make it. All right, come in. The baby has been born. I rushed inside with the man who handed me the baby. It was a beautiful baby girl, and I wanted to do whatever it took to get her to safety. Do not worry, your daughter will be safe. I teleported to the little baby's room and placed her inside the wardrobe. I hope that you will be safe and live young and beautiful forever. The guards began to storm into the room, and I put up a force field so that they could not get in. I gently set the baby, Emma, into the wardrobe and closed the door. I felt the magic swirling around me, and I knew it had been done. I had helped save a princess. I glanced around and lowered the force field. The guard rushed towards me, screaming a battle cry. But then, the curse struck. Chapter 18. My name is Emily Mills. I am 17 years old, and my closest friend is Regina Mills, the mayor of Storybrooke. My parents left me alone in this town when I was born, and some people say that they were thieves. I do not believe them. Regina took me in and treated me as her own daughter. 6 years after she adopted me, she adopted Henry, a cute little boy who I treasured dearly. Every night, Regina would tell us stories about a queen who would do anything for her prince and princess, but she was hated by all of her kingdom. Everyone loved her stepdaughter, and even a woman who had killed her father to try and gain her place on the throne. Her name had been Snow White. The queen had put a wonderful curse over the land to give her children a chance at happiness. I was hated at school. Henry, on the other hand, was treated like a prince. I was happy when Regina took me out of school, but that was such a long time ago. Every night, I would dream about a boy, Peter, except he was different. He was much taller than me. His clothing dyed different shades of green. We would dance all night to beautiful music, and right when we were about to kiss, I would wake up. I had just had that dream again, except this time it was different. There was a shadow, and he swooped down towards me and grabbed me by the collar of my shirt and flew me away. That was when I woke up. Emily, wake up! We have a guest, Regina called from the floor below. I ran downstairs as fast as I could, excited to see who it was. It was a blonde-haired woman, wearing a red leather jacket and gray hat. I slowed down, confused. I had never seen this person before. Hello there, I am Emma Swan, the woman said, and she reached out a hand. I shook it, trying to be as polite as possible. I'm Emily Mills. It is nice to meet you, I said in a somewhat sincere voice. I had been expecting someone like Peter to show up, someone who could take me away and make me feel happy. But I had been wrong. Well, now that the two of you are acquainted, I want you to tell me if she would make a good deputy. Yes or no? I think that she would make a good deputy. Graham is going to enjoy having a new assistant. Graham was the town sheriff and Regina's boyfriend. He was really sweet, and I hoped one day that he could possibly be my adopted father. Alright, thank you for stopping over, Miss Swan, but I think it is time for you to go. You wouldn't want to be late on your first day of work, now would you? Honestly, I was glad she had left. I thought she had seemed a little off, like she had just got here, and she had never heard the name Storybrooke in all of her life. I decided to walk over to Mr. Gold's pawn shop, which was less than a block away. I was Mr. Gold's assistant, and I didn't want to be late for work. Hello, Emily. Why don't you go on ahead and clean the shop? Mr. Gold asked in his Scottish accent. I talked in a British accent, and almost everyone else had an American accent. We were the oddballs of the town. All right, and sorry if I was a few seconds late. The new person had stepped over at my house and wanted to be deputy. And as you know, I'm supposed to decide those kinds of things, I said back. Well, do not worry, dearie. You were on time as always. Now, can you please get to work? I did my job, and also helped some people find what they were looking for while Mr. Gold was in the back. At the end of the day, I was paid $20 for my hard work. Now, $20 a day is not bad, and I can get up to $240 a year. Today was Regina's birthday, so I decided to buy her something nice. I got a pearl necklace with a diamond attached to a big one in the center. As I walked home, I met up with Henry, showing him the present I had gotten. Yeah, Emily, it's cool, he said. You sounded bored, as if you wanted to be somewhere else. When we get home, put on a nice outfit. Sheriff Graham is coming over for dinner, and I think tonight is the night, I told him. I really wanted Regina to have an excellent birthday, and I had been convincing Graham that he had to ask her at some point. Yay, Henry said with little enthusiasm. Cheer up, dude. It's going to be a wonderful night, and we have to be on our best behavior. Let's get you in that new outfit that you got from Mary Margaret. I think you will look quite dapper in it, I said, trying to confuse Henry with big words. At about 7 o'clock, Graham arrived. He had a bouquet of flowers in his hand and something else in his pocket. Regina and I had cooked up some smoked salmon, potatoes, and her favorite apple turnover. It was going to be Regina's luckiest night ever. When it was nearing 8, Graham said that it was time for him to go. I looked at him with anger in my eyes, and he could see it. So he turned around and took out what was in his pocket. Regina Mills, will you marry me? Graham asked. Of course I will, Regina responded. Graham put the ring on her finger, and it was official. Graham would be my adopted father. Chapter 19. Where is she? Peter cried into the night air. He had been looking for Emily for 28 years without a single sign of her. He was getting worried. The preservation spell could wear off. Emily could fall in love with someone else. Emily could die. The possibilities of what had happened were countless. He had seen Emily when she had first reached the enchanted forest, but anything after that was gone. Pan, we just don't know. Just give up already, Felix yelled from across the camp. No, I will never give up on Emily. I promise. Peter began to look through more pictures of the world around him, but could find nothing of his beloved queen. He decided that there was one place left to check. The land without magic. The thought sent a shiver through his body. The one way she could have gotten there was if there had been a curse when Emily landed, and that was what must have happened. Shadow! Yes, Pan? Go to the land without magic, and don't come back until you find her. All right, fine, I'll go. Jeez. And with that, the shadow took off. Don't worry, Emily. I'm coming for you. Chapter 20. Now, it is time to go to bed. We have all had an eventful night, and I think we deserve to sleep, Regina told us. I was excited to get to be a part of a wedding. Henry, on the other hand, was not. Good night, Mom, we said in unison. Henry was still sounding like he was bored with this place. When Regina left, Henry turned over in his bed. Emily, are you awake? He asked. I am now. What do you want? Emma Swan is my birth mother. Good for you. Wait, what? Be quiet, and yes, I checked the documents. But it was a closed adoption. You shouldn't have been able to know. Well, I do. Now, we only need to find your parents, and we can get out of this death trap. Henry, for the last time, Regina loves us. She is nothing like the evil queen in your book. Fine, but I saw something that may interest you. And what is that? You're in the book. You have got to be kidding me. No, seriously, look! It says right here! I grabbed the book, and indeed, it did have my name, save for one thing. So you think my father is Captain Hook? Yes, and he fell in love with Peter Pan. It says so right here. Henry was finally getting excited about something. I just wished it didn't have to involve his book. Henry, if this did really happen, then why am I here? I would have been on Neverland at this time. It just wouldn't be possible, because if you read here, it says that Pan sent you to scout out the new Neverland. So I read where he was pointing to. It seemed too real. I'm sorry, Henry, but it just doesn't seem to fit. I would have remembered who I was by now, and I would apparently be arguing. But all of it is true. You just have to believe. The memories came back in a rush. I could hardly grasp them and study them closer. I just couldn't believe Henry, but that was just too unbearable. Just go to bed. And so, we both fell asleep. This time, the dreams were completely different. It was something that I seemed to remember, but I couldn't. And my dreams were interrupted by something too real to be true. Peter's voice. Don't worry, Emily. I'm coming for you. My memory was back. Henry, I remember! I remember! I cried softly, not wanting to wake Regina, who was sleeping next door. Yes, now you remember who Emma is, Henry said back. Yes, I do, and I also know who you are, I said, inspecting Henry. Who am I? I can't find anything mentioning me. You are the son of my half-brother Balefire, the son of Rumpelstiltskin, and also the child of Emma, the daughter of Snow White and Prince Charming. I knew it! I knew she was my birth mother. That she is, and that means I have a job to do. I grabbed the dagger at my side, the blade shining in the moonlight. I held it close to my lips and whispered into it. I knew it would take months, maybe even years for Peter to get here, but I knew he would come. Emily, are you okay? Yes, I'm fine. Alright, good night. The end of chapter 20. I'll see you in the next video.